short introduction on, we will start with a short introduction on ISPE, followed by our sharing by our speaker, Ms. Claire. Then there will be a Q&A segment for questions from the participants. So please scan the Slido QR code shown on this slide, or you can click on the link in the Zoom chat to ask your questions during or after the sharing. We also have a Kahoot session where winners have exciting prizes up for grabs. And lastly, we will have the closing ceremony. Next slide, please. Okay, so now I would like to invite Gary Tan, a Year 3 Pharmaceutical Engineering student from SIT, and also our president of the ISPE student chapter, to share more about ISPE and our upcoming events. Gary, please.
Yeah, thank you so much for the warm welcome. I will share my screen. Okay, can you all see my screen? Okay, good.
Yep.
Okay. All right, so hi, I'm Gary, like introduced. So I will share more about the ISP and in specific the Singapore Affiliate Student Chapter. So my name is Gary, representative of, yeah. Okay, so next I'll go on to about ISP. So what is ISP? It's basically short for the International Society for Pharmaceutical Engineering, and it's founded in 1980s, headquarters in North America. So there are affiliates all over the globe. So for example, there is the Singapore's affiliate, which we are representing currently. There's the Malaysia affiliate, there is Philippines, and also Indonesia, for example. So essentially what these affiliates all across the globe, what they do is they share different technical, scientific, regulatory advancements right throughout the entire pharmaceutical life cycle in order to advance the industry as a whole. So it's a sharing opportunity for all the working professionals to advance the entire industry together. So apart from just sharing, like knowledge and technical stuff, right? They also provide platforms for each affiliate to actually get to know each other and like network. So it's a platform. For example, we have the ISP Conference and Exhibition 2022 in Singapore recently. So that was a platform that allowed for international participation, all the international affiliates to come around, gather in Singapore, and to share with each other what are the progressing trends that comes along. So this is basically just what ISP can provide, what ISP does. So they, in short, right, actually they provide a lot of resources such as maybe, like I mentioned earlier, like guidance documents, your industry regulatory resources, and also some of the challenges and upcoming trends in the industry, for example. So I will now share more about the student chapter in specific to Singapore's affiliate student chapter. So similar to the international affiliates, right? So what the Singapore student chapter for the working professionals is about advancement of the industry as a whole, right? So what student chapter is looking at is to advance the diverse student community as a whole to prepare ourselves better as we emerge into the industry, to be updated of the industrial trends, to bridge that gap between textbook and also the industrial practices. So this is the vision and mission that we have set out for this year, that we align ourselves towards to execute events as such. So ultimately, it's not just about technical knowledge, there's also like holistic growth through soft skills, and also to acquire the latest industrial knowledge if possible. Yeah, so this is just an overview of what the ISP events generally can provide you, or we execute these kinds of events. So for today's event, it's more towards technical knowledge, where we share more about the automation in pharma. So likewise, we also have events that trains or to showcase transferable soft skills, industrial-based case study competitions for students to innovate and ideate real-life problem scenarios of the industry to actually get themselves exposed as such, networking opportunities with diverse student communities, through the various educational institutes or with the working industrial professionals as well. And also lastly, the site visits. As we know, in the past couple of years, right, actually the pandemic has sort of prevented this from actually happening physically. So there were a lot of virtual site visits, etc. But then of course, now that we are heading towards the end of the pandemic, or rather the measures are getting eased up, right, we can actually look forward to site visits as we move ahead. So these are just overviews of what the events could be. And maybe I can showcase some of the events, right? Some of the recent events that have happened. So earlier this year, actually, we hosted the ISP ARTC site visit. It's a physical site visit to showcase Arcstone's digital solutions. So So a little bit more about Arcstone. It's actually a digital manufacturing solution provider. So what they do is they are sort of like solution providers for companies who wish to digitalize their plants, as we see in the industrial trends, industrial 4 revolutions, where digitalization is an uprising trend and everything is like getting automated, getting digitalized. So this site visit, right, showcased their digital capabilities and how we can integrate them into maybe in different companies, etc. So that was one of the site visits that we had earlier this year. Next, we have Pharma 101. Essentially, it's an event to actually like showcase and bring out a broad overview of the pharmaceutical industries for students like ourselves who are going to progress in the industry soon. So what to look forward to, how try to understand like, the broad, how does the industry look like and how does the industry, work, etc. So it's like a very introductory and broad overview and exposure and experience to the industry from the guest speakers from MSD. Next, we have the case study-based competitions, such as the ISPE Annual Virtual Hackathon. So this year, right, actually the theme is on the sustainability in the pharmaceutical industry. So as per every annual hackathon, we always have our pre-hackathon webinars, so that in case you feel that you are lacking in some kinds of domain knowledge, right, in that field, you can join these pre-hackathon webinars to build up on your knowledge prior to joining the event to try to innovate creative solutions in a 7-day competition to actually, tackle the industrial problem statement that was given. Next, which is our most recent event prior to this, is actually Ace Your Interview. So it basically, if I'm not, correct me if I'm wrong, but basically most of the educational institute and courses that are currently going through in the course curriculums and stuff, we probably have experienced similar modules like career development, resume writing, or like interview skills, right? So what this extra boost to it, right, is more of it's like specific to the pharmaceutical industry. So in a sense, where how can you ace your interview if you are trying to apply for a pharmaceutical company, for example? So like what are some of the things you can look out for? What are some of the tips and tricks and all that? So of course, then this is our latest event, Automation in Pharma. I do hope you guys have a great time and great learning experience through this. So after this event, right, actually there are a couple more events planned for the rest of the year. So end of this month, we have the Pandemic to Endemic on the 30th of September. So it's, as I've mentioned, the pandemic basically robbed us of 2 years of it became very virtual, work from home and all that, hybrid and stuff. So Pandemic to Endemic is an event which basically is a panel discussion by various pandemic, the transitions that they've seen throughout, and also like what are the trends that they see moving forward. So it's a discussion platform, live in person. And I would strongly encourage anyone who is interested and able to make it for the event to actually join. The QR code may be a little small to scan, so can I trouble Irfan to send the sign up link through the chat for anyone who is interested and wish to participate in this event. Yeah, so do join this event. I think it'll be very meaningful. And of course, next up we have our trademark event, Pharmaceutical Genesis, where we usually share on trending topics of the industry. So this year, right, the Pharmaceutical Genesis, what we are looking at is Pharma 4, which is the digital industry. For example, like the Pfizer vaccines, Moderna vaccines, how does it get to market fast, and how does it comply to ensure patient safety is still considered, stuff like that, right? And of course, the rising trends in technology, such as the single-use technology as opposed to conventional single-use technology as opposed to conventional stainless steel technology, and also personalized therapy such as cell and gene therapy. However, more details are to come, so stay tuned. Stay updated with our socials and stay tuned with us to find out more about this event. So last but not least, if you are interested to join us as a member, or if you're interested to find out more about ISPE, right, do scan this QR code, do drop me a text or an email or related, right? Do drop any of ISP student chapter committee members an email or what to try to find out more. We will willingly support you and to enrich you with any kind of knowledge or information you require. And of course, do not hesitate to just reach out and enrich yourself to try to bridge yourself to advance together. Yeah. So maybe I'll leave this slide on for a little bit in case anyone's interested and want to scan this QR code to join us. And yeah. Okay. So yeah. So thank you all so much for the attention and your time for this evening. I do hope you guys have a great experience through this event. Thank you so much. Yeah. Over to you, Nama.
All right. Thank you, Gary, for your sharing. Next up, moving to the main agenda, let's invite our speaker, Miss Claire, who is a strategic account manager at Koerber Pharma, who will be sharing on automation in the pharmaceutical industry. So, Miss Claire, please.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for the introduction. And yeah, my pleasure to be here tonight. And when I say pleasure, because I think as a student, Friday you should be out. Yeah. So thanks so much to be here. Okay, so let me share the screen and let me know if you can see my screen. Yeah. Can you see my screen?
Yep, we can see your screen.
Yeah, okay. And I hope I don't get kicked out because I think just now I got kicked out twice. I don't know why, so I hope this time should be good. But in case it happens, so just give me 1-2 minutes, I will dial in back again. Yeah. So thanks so much once again. So I'm happy to be here to share the topic on automation in pharma industry. Yeah. And before I go into the content, let me introduce myself. So I'm actually Vietnamese. If you know my name, my surname is quite common, popular. So I born and raised in Vietnam, and I came here and I've been living in Singapore for about over 20 years. So I came here to pursue my study in NTU, mechanical production engineering. And after I graduated, I started my career in life science straight away as an automation engineer. So I was doing programming PLC for a while. Yeah. So then with 17 years of experience in pharma industry automation, my experience is mostly in manufacturing OT. Yeah. And it's from consulting work to project management and also computerized system validation. So at the moment, I'm working for Koerber as a regional strategic account manager. So Koerber, we are also, I think, a solution provider for life science for pharma industry. Yeah, so that's our core business, right? So with me, my vision, I have two key visions that I would like to see myself is to develop the next generation of professionals in this industry. I think that's my passion. I like it, I enjoy it, and also to see through the digital transformation in manufacturing in pharma industry, because I think it's starting. The industry is slow adapting, but the future is there. So I hope to see through that journey. Yeah. So that's some information about myself, right? So what we hear and what I bring to this presentation or this sharing is a few things that I would like to share. Is first of all is automation pyramid, right? To get you guys understand, holistically automation work in pharma. Then the IT/OT concept. So this is I'm not saying it's very new, but I think people been talking a lot for this for 5 years. Then a very popular topic in pharma is we cannot live without this, is computerized system validation. So you're in automation in pharma, you must know this, right? And then what's next for the pharma 4.0? We will talk about very quickly the emerging technologies. And I think the last topic I want to touch on is, maybe you would be interested in is what's going to be look like when for the career in pharma automation. So that would be the key sharing of my evening presentation. Oh, by the way, if you have any question, please, feel free to jump in and ask. Yeah, we want to make it interactive. So firstly, I would like to share a famous quote from Bill Gates, right? To talk about pharma, about technology, about automation, about technology. So the first rule of any technology that used in business is that automation, if you apply to efficient operation, it will magnify the efficiency. But the second part is if you apply it in the inefficient operation, then it will magnify the inefficiency. Yeah. So that what it means is automation technology is really cool, right? 4.0 is very cool, but the basic, the fundamental, you have to understand the business aspect that you want to build automation to, right? So we always talk about lean operation before we apply automation. If you apply automation to not lean environment, to not lean process, it's gonna be a nightmare. Yeah, so that's what it means. Okay, so first of all, automation pyramid. I'm not sure if you ever seen this before, but since I joined the industry many years, this pyramid is always there, as it always is being evolved, yeah, over time. So there are 5 levels of this pyramid, right? So we will examine each level, what's that mean in the next few slides. So level 0, this is a few levels. So this level is a physical instrument, right? So we talk about device, actuators, sensors, okay? So in any machine, any equipment, you will see this, yeah? So you will see the electric motors, hydraulic, pneumatic actuators, okay? So this is the lowest level in automation, okay? I'm sure you have seen all this before, yeah? I believe back in my school, I think I seen this also. So that's level 0. Level 1, we talk about control level, where we have PLC and DCS. So PLC stand for Programmable Logical Controller. DCS is Distributed Control System, right? So what this means is this level, the PLC, the control level allow the operator to control and run the equipment, the device, the machine on the shop floor, on the manufacturing floor. And this equipment will perform the physical work, right? So as an automation engineer, you use PLC, DCS to program the control to send a signal to the level 0, right? Be it sensor. Sorry, can you give me 1 minute? Yeah. Sorry, it's my daughter. Okay. So you send the signal to the sensor, you take information, and then you program it in and give the output, right? So that's the machine, the robots, or the equipment can perform certain tasks, right? So this is control level, right? So here, as in the picture, it's a PLC. This is how it look. I'm not sure if you have a chance to see this, but if you walk the shop floor, you see this a lot, right? So you can see that all the input, output, signal, and all these are actually connected to the sensor, the level 0, right? Okay, so level two we call monitoring and supervisory, right? So there's a term for it, we call SCADA. So SCADA stands for supervisory control and data acquisition. As of the term is say that, it allow the engineer to sit at single location, one location, and you can monitor, you can control the equipment, several equipment from one single location, right? And you also can collect the data from the machine, from the equipment, right? And this system will display, the data from the equipment in terms of graphical user interface, so that as an engineer, you sit there, you take a look at you can view the parameter, all the parameter like temperature, pressure. You can see whether which fan, which equipment, which sensor is not working. It's not, you can see red and green. So from there you can troubleshoot, right? And all the data, you can use the data to plot the graph, for your investigation, for example. So this we call SCADA, monitoring and supervisory. Okay. Yeah. So level 3 is actually where my expertise is. We call manufacturing operation management, right? So at level 3, a lot of things happening, and one of the very popular solution that we call MES, so it stands for Manufacturing Execution System, right? So what this system does is actually control, okay, all the activity that you have in the shop floor, in the manufacturing floor, right? So if you know about manufacturing process, right, at the holistic, we have, you take in material, right, and you process it in your process, and after that you produce certain products, right? So MES actually tracking all the information, the information of your raw material that used in the batch. And especially for pharma, it's very important to know what's in the batch, right? Because when you take the medicine, you want to know that every component is actually good quality, right, not expire. Okay. And then also is track all the activities that operator perform in the shop floor, and it capture it and it keep it as a batch record, right? And it's also track like how much output that the process produce, right? So that is actually a very important solution in the manufacturing plan. Okay. However, as I say, MES is one of the solution and it's very key solution in the level 3. But besides MES, we have also other solution, digital products that we are talking about is, for example, LIMS, right? Laboratory Information Management System. We have quality system. The WMS is a warehouse management system, right? Historian is a data collection solution, and etc. So process intelligence, right? PAT, right? Process analytic, solution. Okay. So level 3, it has a lot more than just MES. Okay. So the next level we talk about is management level, enterprise level. So we call that ERP. This ERP is not the same as the ERP that take our money, right? So ERP here stands for enterprise resource planning, right? So one of the very popular solution of ERP is SAP. I'm not sure whether you heard of it, but SAP is used widely by most company. Yeah. So ERP is they manage the business process from an enterprise, for example, purchasing, procurement, right? Finance, payroll, quality. They have some module for manufacturing. They also have some quality module, right? So it's more on enterprise or business level. Okay, so that is a level 4. Right. So also same as level 3, level 4, there are more solution besides ERP, right? You have more product scope, product lifecycle management, PLM, right? Product data management, supply chain, customer relationship, supplier relationship management, right? Business intelligence, right? You want to have a solution that when you look at it, you understand what's going on in your plant, and then you can make the correct solution, the correct decision. Okay. So that cover the level 4 enterprise level. Now all the solution, all the levels that I share, in the end, there's a new term that these few years we've been talking about is IT and OT, right? So many years ago when I joined the industry, I only heard the term IT, information technology. So IT to me is like all the software solution, right? All the application. But these few years, in manufacturing, they segregate into IT and OT. Now IT is application infrastructure that covering level 4, right? So ERP belong to this, right? So then in manufacturing, you have IT team taking care of this, right? And also recently they create a team like OT team. So this OT team technically is the same, right? We talk about application and infrastructure, that, but it's more for level 3 and below. Okay, so that is we call OT. So when you go to start your career, you will get to see this term a lot, right? Okay. Any questions so far? Oh, good. Yeah.
Yep. All
Okay, so so what I have shared is holistic view of automation. Yeah, that kind of automation you can find in any manufacturing, right? So you can find in food, oil and gas, or semicon, yeah, pharma, right? Then next topic I want to touch on is validation, and validation is very specialized. Is for pharma, right? Because the industry is very highly regulated, right? So anything that you implement, any system you deploy to the shop floor, it has to be validated before it can be used, right? So validation concept is used for just for process, for equipment, and then also for the system that we implemented, right? So validation by itself, if you look at the definition, this is by FDA 21 CFR definition. So validation by itself, it means that it's a process that you actually need to provide the documented evidence, right? So this evidence is to prove that your process, your system can produce the product or can produce the result, and meeting is specification that already predefined, right? And also it need to meet the quality attribute that you also need to predetermine, right? So that is the validation definition in general. So what it means is when we do validation, first of all, you need to identify your specification, your requirement, right? Your quality attribute. Now, after you have that, you shortlisted the software, you deployed it, and then you need to test, right? You need to test and then to prove that, whatever that you deploy in the system, meeting your requirements, meeting the spec. Right? So by proving that, we cannot just say that, okay, I test and then it's done. Now it means that you also have to produce a documented evidence. So whatever you test, you document it in your, in your paper. Sometimes nowadays that some company they use the software to do validation, to do the testing, but some still use paper, so you have to write on the paper that yes, you test this, it meet the specification. So that whole process we call validation. Okay. Yep. So validation for automation is very important, right? So in the industry, there is a concept called GAM, so good automated manufacturing practices, right? So this practice, now we have GAM 5, right? So it's evolved. The latest is GAM 5. So it's to guide us how we can perform the validation for the system that we deploy in the pharma industry. Okay, and also they have a general guideline, and also they have more specific, like for example, how we validate PCS, DCS, how we validate MES, how we validate the cloud, how we validate the laboratory system. Okay, so all this information is available by ISPE, but I believe that it's quite expensive to purchase this. Yeah, but if you have a chance, yeah, I think it would be good that you can take a look at this. Okay, so game concept. Okay, so it's a guide for us to understand and to know how to validate the software, because when we talk about system, about the software, it comes to into different categories. So game 5 it classified into 4 categories, right? So depend on the categories, you will have different strategy to validate it, right? For example, infrastructure. Now infrastructure, we are talking about operating system, and we talk about database, we talk about middleware, for example, right? So there's a strategy to validate this, right? Then for non-configured solution or system, that means you have the software when you deploy it to customers or to the plant, right? You don't need to configure anything in the software, but you just install it and then it will run. All you need to do is to key in the run time parameters, and then the software will perform, the job by itself, right? So you get to see this type of solution a lot when if you handling lab activities. So I'm not sure if any one of you have been, doing internship for lab. You will have the software, the equipment that fall into this category. It's very often that you see this. Yeah. Then Cat 4 we call configure solution. What's that mean? That means the vendor come to you, give you the solution, and they say that, yeah, just by configuration, it can meet your business requirement. All good. So with this type of solution, right, also there's a strategy that we can validate it. Now category 5 we call customize, like custom, right? So that means the solution that being provided to you is not just configured. Okay, it has need to have customization. There must be coding changes involved, right? So this category is a highest and is more intensive in terms of validation effort, right? So sometimes also like there's people that in the company from IT group, they actually develop the software, to support the business needs. And so this software, because it's not configured, it's being written, it's coding. So you have to treat it as Cat 5. Okay, so that is a very basic information about GAM, just to get you to understand what is it about validation for automation system. Right, so V model is another, also related to GAM5, is a concept that guide us how to do it. So as you see on the right, on the left hand side is a specification. So as I say specification, that means we have to write upfront what is a spec, right? And then on the right hand side is a test. So as you can see that the arrow here that pointing back. So this is like whatever you have in the spec, you test it. This is a way that you can prove that your software meet the intended specification. Okay. So that's a V model, is very famous, very popular. Okay, so so that's one part of very important of working with automation in pharma. So now we move on to the next topic we call Pharma 4.0. So, so as I think Pharma 4.0, you heard of it. So actually, it's just an application of Industry 4.0 in pharma, right? So 4.0, Industry 4.0 concept has been introduced, I think, many years back in Hanover. It's basically, it's talk about connecting the physical world to the virtual world, right? So I talk a lot about the emergence technology, right? So but Pharma 4.0 maturity model here that you can see, it's not just a technology, but also we have to taking care of resources of organization of the culture, right? So there's a lot of mindset, a lot of culture changes for the company to move towards to Pharma 4.0. Particularly for pharma industry, it's a very slow adopting this industry 4.0 compared to other industry. Yeah. However, lately in the recent years, we see it a lot, but still it's slow. But I think it's give it another 5-10 years, we will see a lot of changes in pharma industry 4.0. Yeah. Okay, so in Pharma 4.0, we have a lot of emerging technologies, right? So, like for example, my company, we provide a lot of solution with emerging technology. So we're talking about cloud computing. So cloud computing is very widely used, right? You put your data, your solution on cloud, right? Service on cloud, software as a service, infrastructure as a service, for example. But the adoption rate is low, right? So pharma company still have a lot of concern about you put the data on cloud. What's going to happen, with my data, right? Who own the data? So all those, because we are very highly regulated. Then also about like when the availability of the cloud, right? Because manufacturing is very important, right? Not able to have the machine run, it affect a lot, right? So cloud computing and blockchain, Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, right? So all these technologies is already there, right? A lot of company vendors already have solution in this, yeah. But adopting rate still a question mark. It's on the way, and I think it will be going strong in the next few years. Yeah. Okay, so that bring me to the last point of my presentation, and maybe we can discuss a bit in this, right? Of course, as a student, you want to know about automation. You want to know how is it like as automation in pharma, and what you can do when you finish school and you enter the workforce, right? So with automation in life science, as you can see, we have 5 levels. So there's a lot of things that we can do, right? So you can be automation engineers where you work with, level 1, where you design the machine, you design the equipment, right? You program it, right? So that's automation engineer. You can be an MES engineer, right? MES engineer, then you need to understand, level 3, right? You need to understand supply chain, process, right? You need to understand manufacturing process, because automation engineer, you only focus pretty much on the equipment machine by itself. But MES engineer, you need to understand the entire business of manufacturing for pharma. Okay, IT OT business analyst, right? Same. So you're working as a business end user, you understand the business, and you help the company deploy the solution for IT OT, right? Same for system engineer. CSV engineer, also very important, because especially if you like to do documentation, you are very detailed, you're very meticulous, right? CSV might be something for you, right? Because but I mean, CSV, you also need to understand a lot of things, to be able to guide, the user to do validation, right? You In validation, you don't want to do too much, because validation effort is a lot and costs a lot, right? But you cannot do less, because it's risky. It bring a lot of risk if you don't test enough, right? Then when come to audits, you will get challenged. How come you haven't tested this? How come you haven't tested that? So CSV engineer with the good knowledge is very important. And if you are in cybersecurity, you also can consider that you're being very specialized in OT systems, right? So IT system, cybersecurity for IT system and OT system are very different, right? Because the way that we look at the data of the two system is very different. Then you can also be a data scientist, so understand the business context, have a data, know how to churn out the report, the information that business needs. So that's a data scientist. So that is about the the career aspect. There's a lot more, right? But I think this is something that we can definitely you can see when you look for job opportunities. Okay. Yes, and I think this is the last slide. So if you have any questions, feel free reach out to me. It's my email here. Yeah, if you have questions, yeah, or you want to know more any topic, let me know. Yeah, I will reach out to you also. Okay, so that's it. That my presentation, the last part of it. Any questions?
Okay, thank you,
Hand
Miss
over
Claire,
to
for
you.
the thank you, Miss Claire, for the insightful sharing. So definitely, as a participant myself, I learned something new about the automation pyramid today. As it's my first time seeing it, so I'm pretty sure the other participants have interesting
Yeah,
takeaways from your sharing too. So now we have reached the Q&A
thank
segment.
you.
So to the participants, Miss Claire, is it okay if I share my screen? Sorry about that. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Okay. So now we have reached the Q&A segment. So please scan the QR code here to the Slido link to ask the questions away. And if you're not able to scan the QR code, please use the link in the Zoom chat to hit to the link to ask your questions. So in a minute time, we will begin with our Q&A segment. Okay, I guess I'll start with the first question. So we do have quite a few interesting questions. So the first question is, do we need to understand IT in order to move forward in operations technology? Claire, please.
Yep. Okay. Do you need to understand IT? So to be frank, I came from manufacturing background, right? Yes, I did take a cert. I think 1 year graduate diploma in IT to move to IT. But to be frank, you don't need to, right? But I think very important when you enter a job in manufacturing, you need to understand the business, right? I would recommend you to understand, be it whether you work in the lab, right? I always recommend you to understand what the company produce, right? What is it in the business process, right? And after that, once you understand it, then you will understand that there's a lot of solution in the OT, but you also can work as a business analyst where you more focus more towards business part. You understand the business, then you lead project from the business aspect, right? There will be an IT group when they take care more on term of infrastructure. Okay, so you don't have to be fully understanding IT, but of course there's certain requirement for you to if you want to work into the system, you should understand of this, like know the PC, things like that. Yeah. Does it answer the question?
Yes, I think it sure does answer the question. It helped me to understand more about the difference between IT and operations technology, definitely. So thank you, Ms. Claire. So moving on to the next question, we have, oops, I just skipped the question. Okay, so okay, maybe I'll just go with this question first. So how can we find these regulations such as CGMP, GLP, as in some rules related to pharma employers require us to understand this?
Sorry, how can we find this regulation? Just some rules related to pharma employers. Okay. Okay. So I think if the role that specify that you need to know GMP, GLP, that means they're not looking for fresh graduate. Yeah. When fresh graduate come, all this will be trained, right? And also, for example, if you're not working in the lab, right, you don't need to know GLP. GLP is then for lab practice, right? Then GMP is manufacturing practice, good manufacturing practice, right? So GMP typically once you enter manufacturing, and if you support manufacturing, we all will be trained. I have to explain to you, of course, there's another topic on that, right? But I think it's not fair to expect fresh graduate to know this. But obviously, after a few years, minimally you should know GMP if you work in manufacturing before.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Claire.
Okay.
So next question we got, I think as every fresh graduate, we are definitely interested to know how much you're gonna earn after you graduate. So the question is, how is the average pay like for automation careers in the pharmaceutical industry?
Yeah. I guess also depends. Sometimes it's subjective, right? Whether you have diploma or you have degree, but I would say maybe around 3.5 to 4. Yeah, so that is what I know. I know that recently I think it's kind of increased. So I haven't really catch up, but I think that should be the range that you can look at for the
Okay.
starting year.
Okay. Okay. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing, Ms. Claire. So next question, this one seems quite interesting regarding the Industry 4.0. So the question is, with the rapid adoption of rising technologies driven by the Industrial 4.0 wave, what are some challenges that the industry will face or is currently facing?
Yep. So I think as I mentioned in during the slide, our industry is relatively slower in terms of auditing Industry 4.0 compared to other industry. The reason is because we are highly regulated, right? So for the company to bring your data to use the solution on cloud, there's a lot of question, for example, data, right? So data is very important in pharma, right? You're talking about the data of the patients, for example, right? So who own it? When I put that on cloud, who own it? It's not clear, right? So also for manufacturing, um, availability is very important, right? So for example, OT compared to IT, IT information, the data is fast. You need the data immediate, right? But for OT, the data at the OT level is it has to be available, right? So because it has to be available, so manufacturing cannot afford to have a lot of downtime. So if I put my MES solution on cloud and where my MES actually control the entire manufacturing activity, so as a company, I will be like, yeah, what if I have hack and then the entire MES go down? I cannot run my manufacturing. So that's the challenge that we are seeing at the moment. Of course, when we say we're going to cloud, if you think about this, with cloud, AWS, they have a lot of protection in terms of cybersecurity. Now, they might have more compared to the company itself, yeah, but still, um, the mindset is still slow for adopting that.
Okay, thank you for sharing, Mr. So next up, we have something related to your job scope. So what is the most exciting part of your job scope currently?
Oh, my job scope. Okay. Like my job, current job, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
Yeah. So I joined Koerber in early this year, right? I think before that I was a consultant and I run the team operation, uh, the team of consultants specialized in OT, right? Um, so when I moved to this, right, as a regional manager, I get to see a lot of customers. I talk to them. I understand what they need, right? I plan for them. Then I provide meet their demand. So that's something that I haven't not done before. Okay, I actually did before, but not really that to that commercial that what I'm doing right now. And another aspect is I'm taking this role also with the mind of setting up operation in Singapore, right? So as I say, one of my vision is I hope to develop next generation, and I love sharing, I love doing that. So yeah, so that's the exciting part of my job at the moment.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Miss Claire. Okay, so next up, something related to your career choice too. So what made you choose the pharma industry compared to like other industries?
Yeah. Okay, so when I graduate from NTU, of course, I think as a foreigner back then, I have a pressure that I need to get a job, else they're gonna kick me back to Vietnam, right? So I kind of like I sent a lot of CV, and then my first job was Siba Vision, so they took me in, and I was I think mechanical engineer, and they took me in. Back then, they actually set up, they built the plant, so I was involved in the startup phase. So I didn't choose it, but I think it's kind of like I grab it first. Yeah. So I think it's kind of like the right choice to stay with the industry for many years. And I see the industry evolve. So I see manufacturing from the discrete manufacturing to the batch manufacturing. I have not seen continuous manufacturing. Vision was medical device. I seen bio. I seen tablet implants. So I seen pretty much in the pharma industry. Of course, there's things that I have not seen, like cell and gene therapies, and there's a lot more. Cell and gene therapy is upcoming, and it's actually, you heard a lot about this, because personalized medicine is where the industry gonna go to. Yeah, so I think after I see, we have some economic crisis, and I think I made the right choice. Yeah, partially because I think my career growth is pretty good. I'm happy with that. Secondly, I think it's stable. The industry stable, and it's quite economy proof. Yeah. So I'm happy that you actually choose pharma to pursue your career. I think it's good choice.
Okay, that's very glad to hear, Miss Claire. Thank you for your sharing.
Yeah.
So next question we have is something related to automation careers. So the question is, seems like automation careers require a lot of experience. So does undergraduates stand a chance against job seekers with years of experience?
Yep. So okay. Obviously, if the depend on what the recruiter looking for, right? If I look for years of experience to fulfill maybe certain project that I cannot afford to train junior, yes, I think it's going to be difficult. But of course, but there are, and for me, I think I'm really very open to train, undergraduate. First of all, I think how to say that, it's where you start, but everybody need a place to start. Back to my career, I needed a place to start, right? So yes, there are companies that are actually open for undergraduates. I'm sure you can find it. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Miss Claire. So the next question is towards the industry. So how is the industry moving towards a paperless solution for batch records?
Mm, yeah. So you're talking about MES. Yeah. So paperless solution for batch record. That is a MES. What is it for? Right. So right now, I think the industry, especially big pharma, most of them already on MES solution. Yeah, I say most of them. That means those company, you can say that you can name it Novartis, Roche, in Singapore already on MES. So big guys already on MES, right? And I see that MES is gonna be growing stronger, right? Because if you talk about like smaller pharma, if you talk about cell and genes, right, eventually they will go to MES. So MES is area that I think is still have a lot of growth. Yeah, and will be continue to go strong with that. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Miss Claire. So next up is about the future, in terms of the demand for IT and OT. So the question is, what do you see in 5 years' time for pharma in relation to the demand for IT or OT, as it seems like one will require a lot of experiences and time to get in?
So what do I see in 5 years? In terms of demand, uh, I think the demand will be there definitely. As I say, pharma in Singapore already adopting, most of them already adopting MES, right? But whether are they on, like full-fledged digitalization, I think not, right? And the company, a lot of company also looking into cloud, right? We are not just talking about MES anymore, right? We are talking about cloud. We are talking about cybersecurity. We are talking about AI, about data analytics. So the demand is gonna be a lot in 5 years, right? And you just need to give the pharma industry 5 to 10 years, because we adopting, but as I say, we still slow in terms of adopting. But I will see that in 5 years, we will see a lot more demand for this.
Okay, thank you for sharing, Miss Claire. So a participant, so a participant has sent his or her thanks for this sharing, but there are still more questions coming in. So one question is,
Yeah,
hi,
sure.
internship opportunities available for undergraduates. So I'm guessing this person is asking if there are opportunities available at Koerber Pharma.
Yeah, please send to me. Yeah, yeah, my email is there. Yeah.
Okay, that's great. Okay. So the next question is, do you feel that COVID-19 created more opportunities and the necessity for automation?
Oh yes, definitely, right. Imagine that I think during the COVID, it's quite hectic in the way that they have to split the operators to go to site, right? So can you imagine that maybe one day, well, maybe that probably a bit fancy. You can operate from, from somewhere. Um, but yeah, I think it's a lot of automation required, especially after COVID. Yeah. So you see that people can work from home, right? Can still deliver and do project from home. But again, to be honest, from my view is, yeah, I know. I think a lot of demand at the moment that okay, work from home. But I think if we are work in manufacturing, somehow I think a physical presence is important there, right? If you want to grow, you need to be close to business. You need to be close to process to understand it, right? But yeah, definitely, I think a lot more of opportunities for automation after COVID.
Okay, thank you, Miss
Yeah.
Claire. So we got another question, which is, what are some skills important to pursue a career in pharmaceutical manufacturing?
Some skill. Okay. Well, to be honest, right? I think all you need to me, if you want to soar in this or in any, you need to be willing to learn. Yeah. Obviously, you gotta like pharmaceutical, right? You gotta like to see the process, right? If you like something else, obviously you can't pursue the career here. Of course, the liking for the industry is there. Be patient with the way that we do things. For example, it can be slow, right? To get things done, multiple approval. So you need to be patient with that also, right? If you are like the fast thing you want to change, like if I want to change the code in the system, I like to do it immediately and I don't want to do paperwork or sort of thing. Then I'm not sure whether pharma will be suitable, right? So you have to be patient and understand that aspect. Other than that, I think keen to learn, hardworking and like the industry, and then I think you are suitable for that. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Miss Claire. And then the next question is, what are some emerging technologies currently in the pharmaceutical industry?
Okay. So cloud, right? So MES. So I talk on my experience with my company. So of course MES. So MES used to be on premise. So that means you actually deploy that on prem. But now we are talking about cloud, right? So why we go to cloud? A lot of reason, of course, because of the emerging technology, but also it's more secure in a way that if you deploy on cloud, you had a lot of cybersecurity defense there, right? Also, another aspect is the cost, right? So not all the pharma company are big and can, so some of the company startup, sometimes they are cell and gene therapy. They are smaller, yeah, but they are on the new trend, but they just need a solution that reasonable price, reasonable cost. So cloud might be an interesting solution for them because you kind of share the software, on the cloud. Yeah. So I think that one of them. Then uh, AI, artificial intelligence, right? So for example, let's say we talk about about packaging machine, right? So packaging machine, you have a lot of sensors and then inspection camera, right? So AI, you can teach the camera to detect the correct and reject the product. So that could be one application. Yeah. There are actually a lot more. Like if you talk about blockchain, you can also be used in the way that we track the information of the patients. Yeah. Yeah. So there's a lot more. What else? AR. Yeah. So let's say AR, you can sit in your office, and then if you need something, you need to check something, you use AI, you use the AI, and then you launch application, and you will be able to see the machine, and maybe you can operate the machine. So that some of the technology that's already there. Yeah. Some big company, they are interested in. Yeah.
Okay, thank you for that, Miss Claire. Actually, there are some pointers you mentioned on, cloud, blockchain, and AI and all that. So these are some hot topics that we as students hear more often, during our period of study in any institution. So, this question is, so it can be related to this question asked by this participant, like, what are some skills that students should pick up, let's say in university or polytechnic to pursue a career in automation?
What are some skill? Okay. How do I say that? Obviously, you need to be from industry. You need to pursuing the industry. You could be from process chemical engineering. You could be a pharmaceutical engineering. You could be IT also, right? So I would say that is wide range. It doesn't stop IT. As I say, if you're IT cybersecurity, well, you can pursue in pharma automation, because you can take care of cybersecurity aspect of OT, right? So I don't have any specific skill that student need to have. I know, I was student before, so I know what I study in school, right? But of course, like I come from the manufacturing background, so that's where if I take a business, obviously I'm not choosing the pharma manufacturing. So but no specific skill, as long as what you study relevant to what I explained, you can find the career in automation in pharma industry.
Okay, thank you for sharing, Miss Claire. Okay, next question is, what should I do if I want to join pharmaceutical manufacturing without any pharmaceutical background?
Okay, what are you studying now?
Oh,
So I believe all of you are in pharma, right?
backgrounds
Industry.
that might be interested to join the industry in the future after graduation. Yeah.
Yeah. Like for example, IT. Yeah, you are working in technically it's an IT company, right? So all we do is develop the solution for customers, right? Pharma industry, I personally don't think that you would definitely pick up a lot during studying. I might be wrong. But of course, like if you need someone to guide you to understand what is GMP, what is GLP, right? What is validation, and those you can only pick up during your your work. Yeah. So I say if you are IT, yeah, welcome to join, and the training will be provided.
Okay. Thank you, Miss Claire. So
Yeah.
just related to the previous question, so is pharmaceutical manufacturing generally open to students of all majors, or is there like some bridging programs that students have to take in order to be part of the pharmaceutical industry or the automation to be part of the automation industry in the pharmaceutical sector?
Yeah. So okay, if the company as they are manufacturing, they look for engineer for process, so they tend to look for chemical engineering, right? They tend to look for pharma or biologic engineering students, right? Because they need someone who interested in process of the manufacturing for biologic plant, right? And then for me, for as a solution provider for pharma, IT is okay. Yeah. Chemical engineering is okay. Biology is okay. I say pretty much, all the, faculty, that's fine. Of course, I'm not going to take in business student. Obviously, they will not apply also. Yeah. But then I think very important that, the training for the industry need to be one of the onboarding part when you
Okay.
join the company.
Thank you for sharing, Ms. Claire. Definitely, most of the questions, or all the questions, in fact, have been answered very clearly by
I
you.
hope,
So
yeah.
definitely, definitely. Thank you very much. So I think that we've come to the end of the Q. Move on to our Kahoot segment. So before that, thank you, Ms. Claire, for answering all the questions
Thank
once
you.
again, and
Yeah,
for your
thanks for having
insightful
me.
sharing too. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
But you're welcome
thanks.
to stay if you'd like to be part of the Kahoot session.
Oh
And
yeah, I want to
Take
print
part,
rice.
sir.
Yeah.
Sure, sure. Okay, so all right. So next up, let's move to our exciting Kahoot session. So the top three winners during the Kahoot session will be receiving Grab vouchers. So please head to the and also, please ensure to use your real name during this session, as we'll be identifying and contacting the winners soon after the event. So maybe we wait until we have all the participants in the Kahoot session. All right, we'd like to give a last call to the participants. Please head to the Kahoot link and you can take part in the Kahoot quiz. There are some Grab vouchers up for grabs, so don't miss it. Maybe you wait for another 30 seconds. Okay, I think Marianne, shall we start with the quiz? All right, okay. All right, so the first question. How many levels are there in the automation pyramid? I think this one everyone saw already, right? The pyramid. Okay, so there are 5 levels. Okay, that's great. So who's in the first? Okay, so we have Justin, Han Rong, and Jeffrey on the top 3 now. Okay, next question. What is level 0 of the automation pyramid? It's really testing what she shared with us.
Okay, then I shouldn't play then.
Okay, field level. All right. We have Justin. Oh, Alvin has gone second now, followed by Han Rong. Okay. Next up. What is the purpose of SCADA? Monitor and control multiple systems from a single location. Okay, that sounds like it's correct. Okay, next. Okay, so top 3 we have, oh, it's still Justin, Alvin, and Han Rong. Okay, good job, guys. Okay, next. What does MES stands for? Manufacturing execution system. Okay. Let's see our top 3 now. Oh, Alvin has moved to the top and followed by Justin and Jishnu. Okay, next question. What is level 3 of the automation pyramid? Manufacturing operating management. Okay. Next question. Okay. Oh, we have the scoreboard. Oh, Justin's back. Justin, Alvin, and Han Rong. Okay. Next question. What is considered the Bible for good practices in pharmaceutical manufacturing? Okay. Take it easy, Gary. So we have GMP5. Okay. Let's see the leaderboard. Oh, it's Justin, Han Rong, and Alvin at top 3. Okay. Next question. Was it true or false? Okay, cloud computing, blockchain, and robotic process automation are examples of emerging technology in Pharma 4.0. True or false? Okay, these are answers coming in damn fast. Okay, it's true. All right. Oh, same 3, but Alvin's in second place now. Okay, next. IT stands for information technology. It's true. Okay, next. All right, still remains. The competition is tight. So 2 more questions. OT stands for operations technology. Fast. Everyone's fast. Okay. True. Okay. Next, let's see our leaderboard. Oh, still the competition is tight. Okay, still the same 3. All right, last question. Which of the following is not a career within automation in life science? Yes, nursing was not listed in her slides. Okay. All right, so let's see who's our top 3 winners. At third position, we have Gary. Next up, we have Elvin, and followed by Justin. Okay, congratulations to our top 3 winners. So our team will be contacting you shortly for the collection of the Grab vouchers. But good try to all the other participants though. Hope the cover was fun for everyone. Okay. So that was a fun Kahoot session. So now let's have a quick photo taking session. So to the participants, do turn on your camera and put on your brightest smile for the picture. So over to you, Irfan. No camera, okay. So to those with camera, try to switch on and give a bright smile. Yes, that's right, Zuhimi. Nice, okay. Thank you, Justin. Okay, I'll give the countdown. Okay. So, okay. And I say 1, 2, 3, everyone say ISPE. Okay. So 1, 2, 3. ISPE. Okay. Oh, Irfan, okay, or you want one more? Okay, okay, thanks a lot, Irfan. Okay. So thank you everyone for turning on your cams and for the photo. Okay, so now I guess we are at the closing session. Okay, Marian just lost the slides. Okay, so thank you everyone. So these are some of the platforms that you guys can find us more about. So if you wanna check on how you can connect with us further. So give a scan at the ISP Linktree QR code where there'll be links towards our Instagram, LinkedIn links, and also our Telegram page, our Telegram channel where we will share about the upcoming events and some interesting webinars or seminars that everyone can take part also. And also it will be amazing if everyone can give us your feedback by scanning the QR code link in the slide right now. So maybe we'll give a few minutes of your time, take some of your time to just give us a feedback about how the event was and basically how you guys enjoyed it. Okay, so someone just PM me asking for Miss Claire's email for internship opportunities. Can I trouble Irfan to drop Miss Claire's email in the Zoom chat?
So, sorry, can you say again?
Oh, someone
What's that?
participant just personally messaged me asking for your email. So he or she could email you for internship opportunities.
Oh, I type my email here.
Okay, thank you, Miss Claire. Thank you. Okay, I guess we have come to the end of our event. So for those who have still not managed to give us a feedback or scan the Linktree links, it's still on the slides. Please take a moment to scan it. And thank you everyone for coming for the event today. I hope it was very insightful as it was for me, for everyone too. So thank you very much, and please do support our future events too. And if there's any queries or anything, do drop us an email or drop us a DM at the Instagram also can lah. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone. Have a nice
Thank you.
weekend.
Thank you, Miss Claire. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye bye.